Parties at Neon Nights were a big thing, even if they were common. This was a sort of rhythm we all fell into when each Friday came around. The sense of expectations that mixed with the flurry of activity filled us all with the energy that was needed to push through the day. I unlocked Neon Nights just after 6 in the morning and flicked the warm interior lights on. The city that never slept was still fast asleep, at least in our little corner of it. Across the street, where Roman and Tristan lived with their 3 other roommates, the lights were off. In truth, it was unlikely that Tristan was even there, and it wouldn't have surprised me to find Roman descending the stairs from Mama Viv's place above the bar. And if I were being completely honest, it only ever was one window I looked at whenever I arrived at work. The place was neat and warm. Mama Viv automated the heating system downstairs so that the first ones to arrive each morning didn't have to wait for the warmth to kick in. It was only one example of the quiet, deliberate care she provided to those around her. We didn't open for another hour, but a bar like Neon Nights always required maintenance and couldn't open its doors to guests without a great deal of preparation, especially on a day when a lineup of drag queens was set to perform in front of a big crowd. I went around the place to make sure everything was the way it should be. After checking that all the tables were clean, I ran through the inventory. The aroma of coffee I was making for myself filled the space as it always did. That first brew on a cold morning added something magical to my routine. I could have had a mug Gran-made this morning, but they were never as good as a shot of espresso at Neon Nights. It was just a few minutes later that deliveries began to arrive. Burger buns from a local baker, fresh produce from Amir around the corner, and several separate deliveries of beer from small brewers came in rapid succession. I checked them, signed for them, and exchanged a few polite words with each delivery person. Before I could turn around, the time of quiet was over. Tristan arrived in a rush, but he always had a ready smile when he greeted you in the morning. "How's it going?" "Couldn't be better," I would say, regardless of whether it could. I made a cup of coffee for him while he set up the kitchen. There was a clear territorial division there. I led the bar, and Tris led the kitchen. We didn't meddle in each other's business. "It's freezing out there," Tristan complained after joining me at the bar, putting both hands around the mug of hot coffee. "I'm guessing you didn't just cross the street then," I said. He gave me a cheeky smile. "You're guessing correctly." Cedric Philippe Valois Montclair had an apartment just off the neighborhood's edge in one of the big, fancy buildings. Tristan had practically moved in with him months ago. Despite that, he still paid his portion of the rent across the street and kept his room intact. I was happy for him. He had always been a kind guy. Even before Mama Viv had employed him to manage the kitchen and expand the offerings Neon Nights had for our hungry guests, Tristan had been the first in line to do any odd job that was necessary. He never shied away from hard work. Even after he got together with a prince from a small, faraway kingdom, Tristan never let that go to his head. He could have dropped Neon Nights in a heartbeat.